Today we are observing World Lupus Day, but before we go ahead, we have a small video on the same. So can you see a butterfly mark? Why there's a butterfly and why there's purple color in this, Arjun?
Well, apparently the rheumatologist, Dr. Kumar, I spoke to her earlier and she's also on this program. She said that it is a butterfly-shaped rash on the face. It's one of the symptoms that you have lupus. But according to the research, you have to have at least 4 markers to suggest prima facie that you're suffering from this. And that's why, as an indicator, just for an average layman, that yes, this person is likely to be suffering from lupus, that is a marker that yes, you are suffering from lupus.
I think to discuss more today, we have our guest in the studio. I would like to welcome Dr. Kumar. She's a rheumatologist, AIMS, and she's also the recipient of National Award for Science and Technology. बहुत-बहुत स्वागत है मैम आपका. नमस्कार.
Pleasure being on the show, and thank you for inviting me on this important day.
Well, it's wonderful to have you on the program, Dr. Kumar. You're the head of department at AIMS, and lupus, as we were trying to understand earlier, is non-contagious as compared to COVID, what people had to go through. But somehow, when I was looking at the symptoms, they're very similar. And how does one distinguish? One has to go to a specialist like you, obviously. But how does one really distinguish? How difficult is it to identify that the person is suffering from lupus?
You very rightly said that manifestations of lupus mimic a lot of other diseases, right? But you talked about COVID. These all viral illnesses are short-term illnesses. While lupus, being autoimmune disease, it's a chronic illness, goes on for years and lifelong. And if we talk about the symptoms of lupus, as you mentioned, having butterfly rash, which worsens on going out and the sun. And then there is intermittent fever, there could be hair loss, which is diffuse or it could be localized. There could be pain in the joints, arthritis, and other manifestations. They depend on the kind of organ involvement. Suppose someone has kidney involvement. Patients can have hematuria, like blood in the urine. There could be protein in the urine, or patient can develop renal failure if not taken care of. Similarly, if there is lung involvement, there could be chest pain. And these patients, they have very severe fatigue, which is unexplained, and then can have anemia, and there could be blood counts going down. So there could be very diverse manifestations depending on the kind of organ involvement in these patients.
Also, when you say it's autoimmune, Veronica, we were discussing this earlier, that it mimics COVID in many ways, does it not?
Yes. हम अगर बीते कुछ दिनों की बात करें, कोविड के बाद से अगर देखें तो डेवलपिंग नेशंस में इसके बहुत सारे केसेस बढ़ रहे हैं. तो व्हाट इज द रीजन बिहाइंड इट, दैट सडन इंक्रीज इन द केसेस ऑफ lupus?
There are many reasons for it. One, initially people were not aware about this illness. Awareness is going up. Like this program of yours is going to go to crores of people and they'll know what lupus is all about, how it manifests. That's one. Second is we did not have diagnostic facilities initially, but now we have state-of-art diagnostic facilities available. So investigations are being done. Third is that there are many factors which are contributing to increased prevalence of this illness. We all know that there could be genetic predisposition, but that does not mean that this is hereditary. By saying genetic contribution, I mean that all of us can have few genes which can increase the risk of development of this illness. But if there are environmental factors, for example, smoking, one individual starts smoking, or pesticides, or recurrent viral infections, so they all can trigger autoimmunity. And it all depends what kind of autoimmunity being triggered that will result in diseases. So there are many illnesses, more than 200 diseases which are included under rheumatological diseases category.
मैम अगर बात की जाए कोविड-19 के सिम्टम्स की और इसके सिम्टम्स की, ल्यूपस के सिम्टम्स से, तो क्या डिफरेंसेस देखने को मिलते हैं?
देखिए, जैसे मैंने कहा कि जो कोविड-19 है वो शॉर्ट टर्म इलनेस है, और जो ल्यूपस है वो क्रॉनिक इलनेस है. तो जो उसके सिम्टम्स होंगे ल्यूपस के, वो वीक्स टू मंथ्स टू ईयर लास्ट करेंगे और लाइफ लॉन्ग रहेंगे. फॉर्चुनेटली जो कोविड है वो एक टाइम लिमिटिंग इलनेस है कि बहुत दिन तक नहीं रहेगा. दूसरा, फीवर की बात की, किसी को 2-4 दिन अगर बुखार आता है तो सोचने की ज़रूरत नहीं है ल्यूपस है. किसी को रैश हो गया और फिर वो ठीक हो जाता है कुछ दिनों में, तो ज़रूरी नहीं कि वो ल्यूपस है. तो हर बुखार, हर रैश, हर फटीग कोविड नहीं, ल्यूपस नहीं है। लेकिन एक चीज़ और देखी गई है कि कोविड के बाद जो पोस्ट कोविड टर्म यूज़ किया जा रहा है उसमें भी ल्यूपस देखने को मिला है पेशेंट्स में। इवन कहते हैं कि जो वैक्सीन्स हैं इन जनरल, कोई भी वैक्सीन हो वो ऑटो इम्यून डिजीज़ेस का खतरा बढ़ा देती है। तो हमने देखा है जिनको कोविड हुआ उनके बाद में जाके वो ल्यूपस डिटेक्ट हुआ उनमें, और उसके मैनिफेस्टेशंस बिल्कुल वही थे जो कि विदाउट कोविड वाले पेशेंट्स थे। तो दोनों में कोई कन्फ्यूजन नहीं है, मैं ये कहना चाहूँगी। कोविड और ल्यूपस दो बहुत अलग इलनेसेस हैं।
तो एक कंटेजियस है, दूसरा कंटेजियस नहीं है। टेक्निकली अगर हम इस बीमारी को देखें तो यहाँ पे जो एंटीबॉडीज जो हैं हेल्दी सेल्स को मारता है, इसका ट्रिगर क्या है? रिसर्च कह रहा है कि इमोशनल स्ट्रेस इज वन ऑफ द ट्रिगर्स। तो आप किस तरीके से इसको ट्रीट करते हैं इस डिजीज को?
देखिए, ट्रिगर एनवायरमेंटल फैक्टर्स होते हैं जो मैंने कहा, और हमने एक स्टडी की थी उसमें ये देखा कि जो नॉर्मल हेल्दी इंडिविजुअल्स थे उनमें भी कुछ ऑटो एंटीबॉडीज़ प्रेजेंट थे 18% पॉपुलेशन में, दिल्ली की पॉपुलेशन में। व्हाट डज दैट सजेस्ट? कि उनमें डिजीज़ नहीं था, वी कॉल इट सब क्लिनिकल ऑटो इम्यूनिटी। हो सकता है उनमें से कुछ लोग बाद में जाके ऑटो इम्यून डिजीज़ डेवलप करें और ल्यूपस उनमें से एक हो। तो अगर एनवायरमेंटल फैक्टर्स की बात करें तो हमारी लाइफस्टाइल इज़ प्लेइंग अ बिग रोल। ओबेसिटी सेट्स अप एन इन्फ्लेमेटरी स्टेट इन द बॉडी, तो वो भी एक फैक्टर माना जा रहा है फॉर इंक्रीजिंग प्रेवलेंस ऑफ ऑटो इम्यून डिजीजेस। स्मोकिंग, एयर पोल्यूशन, पेस्टिसाइड्स जो फूड हम कंज्यूम करते हैं उसमें बहुत सारे ऐसे केमिकल्स होते हैं, वो रोल प्ले कर सकते हैं। ल्यूपस में पर्टिकुलरली जो सनलाइट है दैट ऑल्सो प्लेज अ रोल इन इट्स कॉजेशन, एज वेल एज जो ल्यूपस जिनको है उनको फ्लेयर होने में, यानी कि जो इंटरमिटेंटली उनकी डिजीज़ बढ़ जाती है। और बहुत सारे अननोन फैक्टर्स हैं विच आर स्टिल टू बी लुक्ड एट।
मतलब जो अल्ट्रा वायलेट लाइट होता है सनलाइट में, इज दैट द
एग्जैक्टली, अल्ट्रा वायलेट लाइट एक्ट्स ऑन स्किन सेल्स, और उसके बाद कुछ चेंजेस आते हैं। यूजुअली आवर बॉडी परसीव्स दो सेल्स एज नॉर्मल, बट उन सेल्स की डेथ जब हो जाती है तो बॉडी उनको फॉरेन परसीव करती है। इम्यूनिटी परसीव्स देम एज अ फॉरेन इन्वेडर एंड इट स्टार्ट्स एक्टिंग अगेंस्ट देम, एंड दैट्स द पॉइंट वेयर वी कॉल ऑटो इम्यूनिटी इज ट्रिगर्ड। एंड रिगार्डिंग ट्रीटमेंट ऑफ दीज इलनेसेस, वन नीड टू नो दैट these illnesses are completely treatable. I would not use that word curable, because even diabetes, hypertension, they are not curable diseases, but still we live with it. Similarly, these days we have very good diagnostic facilities as for early diagnosis, as well as we have lots of treatment modalities available which can actually help patient in leading a normal life. The only thing is that early diagnosis is very, very important.
मैम, ये तो बात हो गई डायग्नोसिस की और आपने ट्रीटमेंट का भी बता दिया, लेकिन हमने हमेशा सुना है कि प्रिवेंशन इज़ ऑलवेज बेटर। तो कुछ ऐसे तरीके हैं जिससे इसको प्रिवेंट करा जा सकता है?
प्रिवेंशन की बात शुरू से ही देखनी चाहिए। किसी भी डिजीज़ को प्रिवेंट करने के लिए एवरीथिंग हैज़ टू स्टार्ट अर्ली इन द लाइफ। द मोस्ट इम्पॉर्टेंट थिंग इज़ डाइट। जैसे आपने अपने सेगमेंट में भी बताया कि जंक फूड का बहुत चलन है और होम कुक्ड फूड लोग भूलते जा रहे हैं। तो junk food contributes to inflammatory state in the body and results in obesity as well. Second thing is having a good lifestyle, physical activity. कहते हैं 150 minutes की physical activity per week होनी चाहिए. So then stress, as rightly pointed out. Stress could be because of lots of factors, your workplace stress, home related stress, but the only thing is without stress we cannot work, but we need to know coping strategies, how to overcome that stress. और वो आपका sleep नहीं लेने से भी हो सकता है. Inadequate sleep also results in autoimmunity. One has to be very, very positive. So, and not to smoke at all, and keep the environment clean, because as I said, air pollution also contributes to many, many illnesses.
So would you recommend yoga as an alternative treatment?
That's not the treatment, I would say, that's preventive treatment, even otherwise also therapeutic, because in that again I like to quote one study we did at AIIMS, where we could find the individuals who had autoimmune illness and they did yoga plus treatment. The other group was only treatment. Those who did yoga with treatment, they fared much better in terms of all the parameters which we studied. So one must practice yoga, whether healthy or having some disease.
Dr. Uma Kumar, we want to know about lupus. Clearly, it's a World Lupus Day. But tell us something about yourself. You're the head of department at AIMS. What is it like being a rheumatologist at AIMS?
Look, it's not about just being at AIMS. It's like for any rheumatologist in India, their life is difficult in terms of having very high patient load, because there are only few rheumatologists in India. Rheumatology is a budding specialty. So at AIMS, it's a tertiary care center, and the patient load is too much, and AIMS has its aura, and for all right reasons. Everybody wants to take a consult at AIMS. So we feel blessed and happy also, but with that comes, you know, other pressures. But we are happy dealing with it. And at AIMS, I was able to create the department of rheumatology, dedicated department of rheumatology in 2015, and which is actually providing state-of-art care, which is in tune with AIMS work culture and the aura AIMS carries.
Well, thank you so much, Dr. Uma Kumar, for being with us on the morning show and telling us how important it is to take preventive action against lupus on this occasion of World Lupus Day. Thank you so much.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you so
Pleasure
much,
being
ma'am.
here. Yeah.